Guys, I'm slightly obsessed with obsession. Show of hands if you've ever had a crush on someone that didn't like you back. What would you do for that love to be reciprocated? How far would you go to make them love you back? Today we're talking about a love story, not a romance. And the old saying, be careful what you wish for. Bear, a lonely young man, is in love with Nikki, but he can't tell her how he feels. So instead, he breaks a one-wish willow and wishes that she loved him more than anyone else in the entire fucking world. And what do you know? Bear gets exactly what he wished for. Or does he? What follows is a psychological descent into absolute chaos, with Nikki's behavior growing increasingly erratic, unpredictable, and dangerous as fuck. But the best part of it all is that after watching a phenomenal film that takes full advantage of its incredible, brilliant premise, it gives us the perfect ending. And isn't that amazing? Giving us good endings to good stories. TV series, take note, because apparently y'all can't make a fucking good ending. What a fantastic piece of media. Dare I say, Oscar worthy. Yeah, I said it, and I will say it again. Indy Navarrete, Oscar. But also, these movies are really fucking important because they are so cheap to make, and yet they make so much money back. And it's just telling Hollywood, hey, people don't want your fucking action superhero-packed movies anymore. We're sick of it. We want horror. We want movies for the gays and the girls. We want camp. We want to be entertained. We don't want to have to decipher whether or not the buildings in the background are AI, digital, or real. But also, what a phenomenal story, which is what brings us here today, the story, guys. As I said earlier, this is a love story, not a romance. And you know what else is a love story? The story of you and the subscribe button down below. Go ahead, show it some love. Romance it a little bit. Okay, I'm sorry. The movie opens with Bear, our main character, opening up about his feelings for his co-worker and childhood friend, Nikki Freeman. And he's really being vulnerable and opening his heart, and he says that he feels like he's coming apart. He thinks about Nikki all the time, even when he tries not to. She's in every song he listens to, and he would choose her over everything. Problem is, he's not saying this to Nikki. He's saying this to a server with his friend Ian right next to him, judging the interaction so he can give him some pointers. And the pointers are, ew, gross, Nikki would never go for that. You're being super sappy. Stop with that shit. Ian is a terrible friend. He tells Bear that instead of opening up about his feelings and being honest, he should call her Freaky Nikki, a nickname she absolutely hates. But it's mean flirting, according to Ian. You know when little kids push little girls, and then parents go, ooh, that's boys will be boys. He must like her. Mean flirting. Oh, you ugly piece of shit, dumbass. Let's make out. Bear then gets home and finds his cat, Sandy, dead. Sandy got into his bottle of oxycodone pills. Oxy, if you're not American, is an opioid, and in large quantities, you will overdose. And it just goes to show how reckless and irresponsible Bear is, because those bottles need human hands to open them. So for the cat to be able to get into the bottle and swallow all those pills and then die, he just left the bottle open. Bear? What the fuck? Also, curiosity killed a cat, or as we like to say in Portuguese, a curiosidade matou o gato. And one thing the movie does really well is it isolates the story and focuses solely on Bear and his interactions with the world to the point where you feel like there's nothing left out there. It's a very claustrophobic experience that helps narrow down the story to this very helpless little tale. You feel like you're inside of that apartment with Bear and you can smell the dead cat. Sandy's death leaves Bear inconsolable. He decides to stay home. But then Nikki calls because they're all hanging out and she wants him there. She says that they are running out of time and then says that she has handed in her notice at work and she has 2 weeks left. She then drops a crystal while she's on the call and he decides to swing by a mystic shop to get her a replacement. A nice gesture from a friend who's secretly in love with you. Okay. Well, he gets to the mystic shop and he's like, actually, I'm gonna take these one wish willow things because they look a lot nicer and I don't know which crystal to get. What the fuck, Bear? This is supposed to be a gift for Nikki, not a gift for yourself. One wish willow are these willow sticks that they sell that you make a wish, you break it, spark the middle and break in half, and the wish supposedly comes true. So he buys the one wish willow and meets his friends, Ian, Sarah, and Nikki. And Bear is really awkward, guys, like potentially socially inept. He tries initiating the conversation several times with Nikki to tell her how he feels, but he keeps getting interrupted and he lacks the confidence to really assert himself and finish the fucking sentence. So they leave the bar and Bear offers to drive Nikki home after she expresses the desire to go go home because she doesn't want to go to another bar. And on the way home, she says she's quitting her job because she wants to write. But she's not feeling love at the moment and she needs to feel love. So she needs a big change in her life. Bear says, oh, so it's a romance you're writing. And she says, no. It's a love story. And after failing again to tell her how he feels, Bear eventually says, night, freaky Nikki, which she does not like. She walks back to the car and she's like, you know, I don't like that. And then almost frustrated goes, Bear, do you like me? Because if you do, now is your chance to tell me. He's literally got the perfect opportunity to be like, you know what, Nikki, now that you're asking me, yes, I do. I do kind of like you. But no, he says that he feels like they're very good friends. And she says, okay, and then just walks back to the house. So in a moment of frustration, Bear grabs the One Wish Willow and literally says, I wish Nikki Freeman would love me more than anything in the fucking world. Snap, wish made. He looks back to Nikki's house and suddenly she stood there. And she approaches the car. She seems very confused, like she doesn't know if that's Bear or if that's someone else. She's not really sure of her actions, but once you see it to the very end, it becomes clear that the wish is slowly corrupting her, and she's kind of like learning how to act in that very moment. In that very short amount of time, she's kind of coming to terms with this new compulsion that she has of loving Bear more than anyone in the whole fucking world. Because one of the first things that she says is, do you want to come inside? I did just lose my cat, Bear. Bear's like, what? No, I'm the one who lost my cat. And she immediately goes, oh, I'm so sorry. You lost your cat. And then she looks at him confused, like, should we go inside? Should we go to yours? It's like, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. And she keeps going back and forth between like weird emotions. She's trying to figure out how to navigate this world. Bear. And she does such a brilliant job at really capturing the confusion. Like, it's so good. Give her the Oscar. At one point, she even stops herself like, whoa, what the fuck am I doing? I'm acting so weird. And then snaps back into this weird new Nikki, and she makes Bear laugh, and then she jumps in the car and she wants to go with him. And he's freaked out. So freaked out, he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And she apologizes and says that her dad is dying of cancer and she doesn't want to be alone. Any thoughts? Do you think it's appropriate to lie about your parents dying of cancer to be with someone? I don't think he wants to talk. So he drives her to his place, and as soon as she enters, she's like, oh, smells of you. And he's like, I'm sorry, does that mean that it smells bad? Because he had a fucking dead cat there, like earlier. I don't think he disposed of the body. I think the body's still inside rotting. And she's like, no, it just smells of you. It's nice. That house looks so dirty. Eventually, she invites him to bed with her and then starts kissing him. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, she just looks at him and is like, whoa, what the fuck? And just recoils back. Almost like the real Nikki suddenly woke up and had no idea where she was or why she was kissing Bear, her friend. And Bear freaks out a lot because she made him feel like he was doing something to her that she didn't want him to do. And that was really fucking weird and psychotic, and she needs to stop that. Okay. A generous reading of what has happened so far would have said that, Bear probably had no idea that the wish would work. He had no idea that he was going to actually genuinely take away her autonomy, her agency, for her to just love him more than anything in the whole world. But the moment he sees how she snaps back into her own body and doesn't understand what she's doing there or what has happened, he knows that that's not the real Nikki anymore. The first thing he says is, you kissed me. It's almost like he's already excusing himself for being in that situation with Nikki, and he just does not want to get blamed for it. I've seen a lot of people online saying that Bear is as much of a victim as Nikki is in this situation, which, no, come on now. And they were being serious. That was not satirical. Like, what do you mean? Bear is as much of a victim as Nikki. And the next day, he wakes up to find that Nikki made a shrine out of his dead cat. And instead of disposing of the body, he simply goes to work with Nikki. And he gets to work, and Ian interrogates him because he's just seen Bear and Nikki kiss. What the hell is going on? And Bear, oh my God, Bear. The way he talks about what Nikki has just been doing the night before, he's like, just out of nowhere, she started kissing me. She's acting psychotic. She needs help. Like, it was terrifying. I don't know what to do. Like, she really fucking needs help. Bear. Out of nowhere, she just started liking you. You have no idea why. But then at the end of the day, Nikki is acting like herself again, and she actually goes home with Ian. Even Bear's like, oh, you're not coming with me? Okay. Good. So Bear gets home and he asks an AI chatbot about the side effects of taking Molly whilst he's on the phone to Ian talking about Ian's conversation he just had with Nikki. And he says, no, Nikki seemed fine. And she said she wasn't staring at you. She was just looking at the both of us. It's fine. Am I off screen? And then she shows up at his doorstep, apologizes for her behavior, and confesses she likes him and knows he likes her too. Yes. And it's only then that Bear finally admits that he does have feelings for Nikki. And it cuts to a montage of their relationship blossoming. They're sleeping together, they're spending time together. My favorite is when she shows him a cartoon that says, "I want to wear your skin like a sweater." Romantic. And all around them, Ian, Sarah, his boss, they all watch the relationship unfold with befuddlement in their eyes. What is going on? Where did this come from? I don't understand. And then one day over dinner at a restaurant, Bear says that he's kind of wanted to be a food critic. The way he describes it doesn't seem like he actually wants to be a food critic. It's just like the one thing that he can come up with that he could do. Because Bear has no real aspirations in life. Poor guy. I think he needs a hug. A bear hug. He then gets a phone call from Ian. She's not very happy about it, but he takes the call and Ian tells him, listen, I've been looking into this and it turns out Nikki's father, healthy as ever. Also, I was talking to Sarah and Sarah told me that this one time she was talking to Nikki and Nikki said to Sarah that she saw you as like her little brother. And the way they filmed this little scene is so good because it's like minimum work. One continuous shot of Bear on the phone. The camera is catching him. In the background, you see the restaurant and you see Nikki. And then Bear moves to a little corner. He's still on the phone call. And in the background, you see Nikki get up and approach, like almost like spying on him. Like, now I'm here. And now I'm here. And now I'm here. What Curry Barker does so well with this film is that with very little, he does a lot. Like, for example, a lot of the eeriness around the character Nikki and around this like wish Nikki version of hers, a lot of it is achieved with the lack of light. There's a lot of instances throughout the movie where Nikki is talking, but like you can't really see her face completely. You can't even properly see her lips moving at the same time as what she's saying. And it's so effective and yet so simple. So Bear goes back to the table. Nikki's father isn't actually dying, and he asks her, do you love me? She says, yes. Do you like me more than anyone in the entire world?
Yes, more than anyone.
And then he goes, Nikki, is your father actually dying? And she gives us this beautiful moment. She sat down. Oh, no, 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 no.
No, don't do that!
She pisses all over that stage. Ah! And then she says, why does it matter? And it's very forceful and very void of all the theatrics. Like every now and then she's able to actually speak very honestly, and it feels like it's the most sincere that she's able to be. And then it cuts to them having sex in bed, and I say having sex. It's a rape. There's no other way to put this other than that is not consent. It's really creepy because you see Nikki's face and she's like completely void of emotions, but she's still moaning, and then he's just pushing into her. He knows that she's not there. Like, he knows that she's not herself. So for him to go through with it, rape. He then wakes up in the middle of the night and he looks to the corner of the room and Nikki's there, stood just watching him sleep. Like, when asked, she says she's watching him sleep because he is so cute when he sleeps. She also refuses to go to bed because she doesn't like her dreams. She feels like he doesn't love her as much as she loves him. Like, it's not even mutual. And he's so useless and passive the entire movie that he just lays there like, no, I love you. Come to bed now, please. And she's like, no, I'm not coming to bed. You sleep. And he just lays down and tries sleeping. She's in the corner of the room, like all fucking weird, like a freaky Nikki. And he just tries to go back to sleep. She then holds a vase with flowers in front of her face and then just moves around the room like in zigzags. Really creepy, really terrifying. And he's just freaking out. And then she says, for Sandy, and then gets in bed with him. And like, I know it was meant to be scary and all because it's dark and it's ominous and it's creepy, but honestly, I was having a laugh. I was having a laugh because this movie's got a darkly comedic twist to it. The day after, he notices that she cut his hair in his sleep, so he tells her, please don't do that again. And then she like apologizes, and instead of like explaining what was happening, she just smiles diabolically and asks, how's this? Give her the Oscar. Seeing as she loves him, Bear asks her no more weird stuff. Okay, just go back to acting normal. Which is rich, coming from someone who's already wished her autonomy away, for him to now still have a problem with how her lack of agency looks like. Bear. Like, even after removing all of her independence, he's still trying to police her behavior, and this is why Bear is a villain. But he's dressed up as the nice guy, right? He's presented to us as the nice guy TM trope. He then gets up to go to work and notices that she duct taped the entire door shut to keep him from leaving, but he does leave. And she stays in the same spot, waiting for him all day. And as he leaves, she stays completely frozen, smiling diabolically, and starts pissing herself. Then at work, Bear opens his packed lunch that she packed for him, and he sees two pictures. One of the pictures has Bear in it, and it says, you, underneath. And then another picture is a selfie that Nikki took when Bear was sleeping of the two of them. And under the picture, it says, not me. Almost like the real Nikki saw the picture and wrote not me under it before packing the lunch. Further evidence that Nikki isn't Nikki, and Bear is fully aware. Did that rhyme? I'm so good. And Sarah, their co-worker, then expresses how weird it is to see them all of a sudden like super dating, because she doesn't want Nikki to take advantage of Bear. Sarah's also applied to a bunch of colleges, and she got rejected from all of them except for one that she's still waiting to hear from, and that's going to be important for later. But then she notices the note that Nikki left Bear when she packed her lunch. It says, my little food critic, what's the verdict? Cat. And that's when Bear realizes that the sandwich that he's eating that she packed for him has cat meat in it. She cooked his fucking cat. Oh my God, what the fuck? She cooked his cat, y'all, and he ate it. After work, Ian asks Bear for a ride because he doesn't have his car, and it's all an opportunity for him to interrogate Bear. And if earlier Sarah was saying that she didn't want Nikki to take advantage of Bear, now it's Ian saying that he thinks Bear is taking advantage of Nikki. And that's why they weren't invited to Ian's party that he's hosting that night, because everyone thinks they're fucking weird together. So to prove to Ian, but also to himself, that he's in a perfectly healthy relationship, he agrees to go to Ian's party as long as he doesn't bring Nikki with him. We then see Bear practicing in front of the mirror how he's going to confront Nikki about having cooked his cat. But before he goes in to face the monster of his own creation, Bear hears the music of the One Wish Willow box and remembers, oh, wait a minute, there's got to be instructions in the back. So he decides to call the customer service number that's in the box. And as soon as he's on the call, he asks if there's any way for him to alter the wish. Not cancel, not remove it, but alter it. You know, I like the wish. I like the fact that she loves me. I just wish she was a little less crazy about it. And you still want to say that Bear is not the villain? Oh, come on now. Like, you can't cancel it. In fact, Nikki is gonna be that obsessed with Bear for as long as Bear or Nikki lives. And he then tells Bear that he kind of has a moral obligation to stick by her, considering he's the one who wished for it, and says just because you wished for it doesn't make it any less real. He then even offers to let Bear speak to Nikki, and Bear's like, what? And then all we hear is Nikki screaming on the other end of the call. And this confused a lot of people. A lot of people thought, oh, okay, Nikki was possessed by a demon and her real soul is somewhere in the offices of the One Wish Willow suffering. But no, guys, no. Of course it's supernatural, but she's not actually trapped in hell. She's just trapped in her own body. I think this whole call and him hearing her scream is just the movie's way of telling us that that is not the real Nikki. This is just further evidence that the Nikki that he's with is a corrupted version. So he gets home and he finds Nikki exactly where she was when he left. The exact same spot. And she's covered in piss and vomit. She apologizes, says she ate a bug or has a stomach bug, but I venture saying, wish Nikki maybe tested a little bit of the cat before sending the packed lunch with Bear. And then she puked it up because it's fucking disgusting. And it's only when she's in the shower on the other side of a door that Bear has the nerve to confront her about cooking the cat and tells her, I am very upset about it. Please don't do it again. It's like, okay. And then, oh, by the way, Ian invited me to the party. It's a boys' night, so I'm just gonna go. Ooh, the water stops immediately. What do you mean a party? And Nikki says, oh, great, I can get ready and go with you. But he says, no, actually, it's a boys' night, so I think it's just gonna go me. Ooh, she starts screaming. She starts screaming. There's a big ruckus, and she somehow flips it on him so that by the end of the conversation, he's the one begging her to go with him. And it's awkward as fuck. They're playing Jenga with dares. You pull a block and it tells you to do something and you have to do it. And when it comes to Nikki's turn, oh, you best believe. Because up until now, Nikki was already weirding everyone at this party. So when it comes to her turn, she reads what she has to do, but instead decides to recite a soliloquy. And it's essentially a bastardized, incestuous version of Hansel and Gretel, where they lay together like the old woman taught them. And she ends the soliloquy with, and I quote, "I knew he would not leave this place. He would relent and choose to be inside me like he had many nights before. If not, I would flay his needy forearm, roll it like a stick of licorice, and insert the flesh between my legs. Hansel is my soul, a love only the branch of a willow tree could conjure. Brother, you will be inside me tonight." And then says it's a new book that she's working on. Right. And when Bear's turn comes, his blog says, "Kiss the person on your left." Except to his left, it's Sarah. As soon as he reads the block, Nikki gets up with the biggest pout in the world. Then she walks around the table, gets behind Sarah, grabs her chair, drags her away from Bear so she can take her place to the left of Bear so Bear can kiss her. She then sighs, content, and says, and I quote, "No one on this earth will ever comprehend what it feels like to love someone as much as I love you." She then stands up and loudly says, "And everyone in this room will die, never feeling the strength of connection I have felt with my bear." And when everyone is significantly quiet in disbelief, she snaps back into herself, freaks out, walks backwards, starts screaming, "It's not me, it's not me," grabs a bottle, breaks it in half, and then starts smashing it in her face. Like she stabs herself twice with a broken bottle on her face and then goes back to the weird smile. "Oh, it's all good. It's all okay." Everyone reacts normally. They all like take a step or 50 back. Like, what the hell is happening? And Bear is just there, sat down, like, and you can hear Ian in the background, like, "Do something, Bear, do fucking something." But he doesn't, because again, he's an avoidant. So if you think about it, the minute that Nikki regained control of her body over whatever thing is controlling her, and the first thing she did was try and take her own life. Stab myself with a broken bottle in the face. Oh, there's gotta be easier ways to do it. It's a nice touch, and it just raises the stakes so much because it makes you feel, oh, okay, like she's really going through it. And after a quick trip to the ER, things start escalating very fast. Back home, Bear once again asks her why she was acting so weird, and she says, "I know that Sarah likes you." And he's like frustrated because she's ruining everything. They had it all, and now she's acting weird. Why can't she act like Nikki? He even says, "Do you like me?" And her immediate response is, "Bear, I love you more than..." No. Do you like me? Does Nikki like me? Like, does Nikki even like me at all? And that's when he's like consciously talking to Wish Nikki. Even at this point, it's not about whether Nikki is happy or not. It's whether she liked him or not. Bear is such a piece of shit. He even says that he really wants to make this work. The wish. So he says they need some space and he's gonna sleep at Ian's, and she starts having a meltdown, screaming, crying, and he's just begging her to act like Nikki. Just act like Nikki. And she says, I can be Nikki. I can be whatever you want me to be. Please don't go." And he immediately goes, no, that's not what I said. That's not what I meant. "Yes, it is, Bear. Yes, it is." Even now, he's like, "I know you're not Nikki, but I want you to be like her." And in the middle of the conversation, she starts walking backwards. It's really freaky. And I interpreted it as the real Nikki struggling for control over her own body. And sometimes she gets to say things and gets to like really act on it. And sometimes she's just able to move the body, but not necessarily the mind or the mouth. So then Bear suggests that she take the bed, and he's just gonna go to Ian's for the night and he'll be back in the morning. And she says, "Okay," and walks away. A lot of noise coming from the kitchen. Bear's like, "What are you doing?" So she comes back and very calmly says something that I think is very, very important, so I wrote it all down and I'm gonna read it. Well, if I have the bed all to myself tonight, I'll lay there warm until slowly I feel cold, like I walked into a freezer. My hands will feel like they're full of sand, like when you lay on them wrong. And that feeling will slowly spread across my entire body. You're still in my heart, but you're slipping. Any thought of pain or regret will slip away like a chemical switch. Even though it's quiet in the room, somehow it gets even quieter. It's not painful. You just let go. Everything you once were. And then there is nothing. It's not darkness. No, sweetie. Darkness is a color. There is just nothing. Or you could stay. And I found this really meaningful because at first it sounds like she's trying to emotionally manipulate him into staying with her. But there's an honesty. She's not only being as honest as she can, but she's genuinely describing how she feels when he's not around. Like somehow this compulsion of her like loving him more than anything in the whole world. This is how she feels when he's not around. Like her entire body is just going into nothingness. Or maybe this is how real Nikki feels all the fucking time while she's not in control. So he ends up staying with her. But in the middle of the night, Sarah texts him to meet her because she really, really, really needs to talk to him. And he manages to sneak out of bed. But then on his way out, he hears Nikki call him. He freaks out. I'm just getting water. He's like, no. It's me. She's asleep. Guys, the real Nikki is awake. Wish Nikki is asleep. And we can hear her talk, but her lips aren't moving. This is the real Nikki, who's waited for the other one to fall asleep, and she begs him to kill her. Which just goes to show how much pain must she be in that a few days ago she was just dreaming of writing a book and like having her entire future ahead of her, and now she's begging him to kill her. And he has the nerve to say what would be, and then corrects himself, what's so bad about being with me? Bear, you... And she says, I've never been with you, Bear. Which is, she's basically confirming to him, hey, Bear, it was never me. And he just walks out as she's pleading, crying, please kill me. Just walks out. Piece of shit. I mean, I'm glad he didn't kill her, you know. We got to get to the ending. Well, actually. He meets Sarah, who insists that Nikki is taking advantage of him and she doesn't want to see Bear get hurt. And she has a letter with her of the last college that she's applied to, her last chance to go study and be a tattoo artist and escape from her dad and be happy. But before she opens it, she needs to tell Bear a few things, such as Ian and Nikki had been in a sexual relationship on and off for literal years. So whenever Ian said that Bear was taking advantage of her, maybe he was just trying to get them to break up because he was jealous. Like, if we think about it, everyone is acting in their own self-interests. Ian is accusing Bear of taking advantage of her because he likes her. Sarah is accusing Nikki of taking advantage of Bear because she likes him. Nikki has literally been robbed of her autonomy and is being tortured inside the possessed body of a deranged woman who loves that oily who refuses to take accountability for any of his actions. It is a clusterfuck. And I love it. And Sarah hints that she likes him. And then she says, well, I was to your left at the party. And then out of nowhere, Nikki crashes the window of the car and smashes Sarah's head against a brick over and over and over again. Bear, after the initial shock of just sits there in a corner, not looking at it, refusing to interact with it, just ignoring it. And now we're cooking with gas because Nikki finishes killing Sarah and she tells Bear, I'm so sorry you had to see that, baby, but it is kind of your fault. Just remember that you wanted this. You wished for it. And this is another one of those moments where she sounds very honest and very grounded, like she's speaking from a place of truth and logical rationale. Like, hey, by the way, this is only happening because you wish that I loved you more than anything in the world. And that's kind of what the compulsion tells me to do. I am the way I am because of you. It's your fault. Anyway, let's make it work, right? Yay! And while she disposes of the body, Bear opens the letter to find that Sarah did get into the last school that she was waiting for an answer from. She was gonna go live her dream. She got in, and now she's dead, because Bear is just a useless little shit. So he finally decides to go back to the Mystic Shop and buy some more One Wish Willows. So he buys 2 One Wish Willows. He gets to the car, and he makes another wish. You know what he wishes for? He wishes that Nikki Freeman only loved me as a friend. This guy, Bear, even even now, after all of it, his wish is still that Nikki Freeman loves him in some capacity. But, lucky or unlucky for him, it doesn't work because each person is only allowed one wish. Aw. So he goes to Ian's, his other friend, who is freaking out because Sarah has been texting him to meet her at Bear's place. Bear knows that that's probably Nikki's, like, don't go to my place. Also, here's a one-wish Willow. Please make a wish. He explains the whole truth to Ian, and Ian, not believing him, wishes for $1 billion instead. And guess what happens? $1 billion start raining from the sky. Yep, it worked. But that also means that he has run out of friends to make a wish for. I saw a lot of people online saying, why wouldn't he just walk up to a random person in the street and give him $100 and say, I'll give you $100 if you say, I wish for Bear's wish to be undone. That would have been a simple solution for the movie, right? Wrong, because that's not how you solve movies like this. He goes back home, and it is, oh my God, it is a pigsty. It's disgusting. There's another shrine that Nikki built, but worse than that, in the corner of the room, imagine that chair. There's Sarah's body displayed like a little trophy. She's naked, and then in the room is Nikki. Nikki seemingly, I don't know if she scalped Sarah or if she was wearing parts of her hair. So she even painted like Sarah's tattoos all over her skin to try and look like her. And then she's just frustrated, smoking, saying, why don't you love me? She even smacks her fucking face with a brick to further resemble Sarah after she, started. She's like bleeding from her face, trying to approach Bear, and like you can see her snapping in and out of Wish Nikki because she's like, why did you let me stop? She has the gun that she got from Sarah's father, the gun that she heard about earlier in the film from Ian at the bar, and she gets on top of Bear and like, tell me you love me or I'm gonna fucking kill you. Ian is at the door. He's like, oh, the wish worked, Bear, we need to talk. You should have thought of that before. But he gets in the room and Nikki turns and shoots him in the head. So Ian's dead. And then Bear's like, I love you. I love you. I love you. But as soon as he says, I love you so forcefully, it's almost like a wave of relief hits Nikki and she's finally able to like rest. It's almost like the more Bear rejects Wish Nikki, the harder she goes on her psychosis and on her like forcefulness. So like the more he rejects her, the crazier she'll get. And it's almost like she's begging him to like just accept her love and make it work so she can stop doing all this, right? But then at the tiny, slightest inkling that he may not be fully in on it, she flips. So he locks himself in the bathroom. And at this point, like, he's got nowhere to go. He's got no way out of this. So he grabs the gun, puts it in his mouth, ponders it, and nah. So he sits down and he looks at the pills, the pills that killed his cat earlier, Sandy. He swallows a bunch of those pills. And at this point, I forgot to say earlier, but he went back home hoping that he could get Nikki to make a wish for him because Nikki will do everything for him. But he left the wish out there. So he swallows the pills, and then last minute, the cowardice really enters and he tries to puke them out. But then he hears the music that you hear when you open up the box of the One Wish Willow, meaning Nikki's out there making a wish, and then suddenly he's also in love with her. So he's not trying to puke anymore. He just gets up and he goes to the living room, and it's so cute. They look at each other like, and then they walk up to each other and they are so in love. Oh my God, the magic of the One Wish Willow's gotten them both fucking crazy. And then they kiss. Except he never puked the pills out. Oh no. He drops to the floor and he starts dying. And once she realizes that Bear is like dying, he's gonna die in overdose, she sobs hysterically for a while, and then she picks up the gun and puts it in her mouth, and then suddenly the real Nikki snaps back into her body. Now that Bear is officially dead, the wish is no more, and all that's left is the real Nikki with a busted face and the carnage around her. Oh my God, what a perfect ending. However, the actress Indy Navarrete has already said that keep an eye out on Curry Barker's next movie. It's called Anything But Ghosts, because apparently there's going to be a little Easter egg in that film that shows a woman being charged with the murder of 3 people. So, wow. Now you know that. But what a movie, guys. Oh my God, what a movie. Cinema is so back. I love low budget independent films when they do it like this. Because you really don't need a high budget to tell a good story. I don't give a 10 out of 10 to many movies. There's only a handful, but this one, 10 out of 10. One of the details about the movie that people are talking about is the cat, right? And one of the theories that I like the most and that I think works the best is the cat is a metaphor for Nikki's autonomy, for Nikki's agency. Curiosity kills the cat, right? The cat was killed because of its curiosity with the pills. The same way that Bear kills Nikki's agency with his curiosity with the wish. And if you think about it, one of the first things that she tells him is that, you want to come inside? After all, I just lost my cat. It could be the director's like cheeky way of leaving in there, I did just lose my agency, my autonomy. There's also the confusion over why she cooked the cat. And I don't know, my interpretation would be that she has a very distorted perception of what love is, or even when the wish takes effect, it essentially like creates a Nikki with a clean slate, where the only purpose in life that she has is to love Bear. And so she doesn't have necessarily the discernment of determining whether or not this is an appropriate gift or not. So when she sees that Bear loved the cat died, the cat is flesh, and Bear wants to be a food critic, how romantic would it be if I cooked the cat for him to critique? You know what I mean? I also think it's important to think about what Bear actually wishes for, because he said, I wish Nikki Freeman would love me more than anything in the fucking world. And the moment he makes that wish, he's almost like frustrated at himself, or frustrated at the world, or even frustrated at Nikki for not loving him the same way that he loves her. Perhaps those negative feelings or those distorted feelings also entered the wish. Like how is the wish to know what it means for her to love him more than anyone in the world? If we think back to his words initially in the movie, he says that he felt like he was coming apart when he was not with her. What if that sentiment was then translated to a literal sense when he made the wish, and now wish Nikki literally feels like she's coming apart, right? Because when he says, oh, I'm coming apart when I'm not with you, like, sure, but that's just in your mind. You're just a little bit too obsessed with her. That's fine. You'll live. But when it's a wish, what if she is physically feeling like she's falling apart when she's not with him? What if that's how the real Nikki also feels when she's trapped in that body? There's also the question of how much was real Nikki taking control of her body when Bear wasn't around, because there's that picture that he finds in his packed lunch with a picture, a selfie of him and Nikki that says "not me" under it. And I just keep thinking, for her to have snuck that picture into the packed lunch without wish Nikki realizing, she must have probably a lot more control over her body when she's not with Bear. Ow! And that was Obsession. I love a good horror movie that makes you think, a good horror movie that just says so much with so little. Go watch it, make up your own mind, and then come back and tell us in the comments down below what you thought. And if you have watched it, then tell me right now. I think that's it for today, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to leave it a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Make a love story with a subscribe button. Go ahead. My other baby also came back in the meantime, by the way. She's there. My goodness, guys, I could literally die with these puppies. They're so cute. And until next time, stay safe, stay sane, stay stupid, and stay stuttering. O meu nome é Saudade, porque vou sem saber quando vou voltar. Sou tão só e ninguém me sabe acalmar. Bye, guys.